Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 17th, 2022 at approximately 8:52 a.m. PST. I think I got the time wrong. Yeah, it's 8:12 a.m. PST. That said, made some great headway yesterday. Like I've been talking about, get the energy in your own world turned around properly so it works. Well, and apparently we forgot to take that up front. Glass of water, necessary Coke can. That's our phone. And of course, this is that one character I was showing you yesterday, making a little bit of headway on it. Okay. These are just some of the things I'm working on, but and of course, I was working, the reason that character's there is because of the fact if you're in Canada, at least in Kelowna where I am, these little plastic bins. This is one of those funny little things about improvising from the past. These funny little bins is what I get mushrooms in, like fresh mushrooms. But as it turns out, if you look back, and if you're my age, you'll remember them, at least hopefully. There used to be CD racks to hold CDs on little brown rectangular racks to hold a series of CDs on. Okay, even with the earlier computers, we used to use them for the same thing. But as it turns out, those racks hold these little containers perfectly for holding my figurines. And of course, because I ended up with a surplus of them for a while, they work beautifully. Don't want to dump that on the floor. They work beautifully as a paint bin as well. You use them for a while. So, this is to do with that project I'm working on with the writing. I ran into a problem yesterday. Yesterday. I'm in the middle of writing the Return to Paradise. Okay, but I hit a point where I had to find out something that happened before. Now I mentioned these books are interlocked, so I had to go back and figure out where this connection happened. The initial part of it happens in book 1. Then it jumps forward to book 3, and then I can move forward. So I had to go back and find it to find the event. Okay, and when I found the event, it's way back in book 1. I had to move forward. Well, the event I had to find in book 3, then I had to jump back again to book 1. I've done this before. Okay, so I got the part gone through in book 1, got it double checked, came forward. Today I'll be writing in book 3 to get it sorted around, so that I can actually move forward and carry on with book 12. This doesn't change the fact that I'm still planning on having book 12 out at the end of the year. Now remember, I mentioned here I came back to this life for one primary purpose. Okay, and that is to pass on a simple message to everyone in existence. Working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But this is going to require your assistance, and therefore I am absolutely asking for your help. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and pass it on to as many people as you can get to, whether they have a computer or are just living in the physical world. For that matter, if you're in contact with the ones living in the afterlife, as some mediums are, myself included, absolutely pass it on to them as well, because this affects everyone. The reality of it from my standpoint, and I've held this since the day I was born, the reality is that the people in the afterlife are simply living entities that no longer have a physical body. Now, I don't know what your belief structure falls to, and for that matter, it doesn't really matter. I'm not here. Yeah, I mean, it matters to you, but I'm not here to convince you whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't fear death for a reason. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking forward to death. Well, that's not 100% correct, but that's a long story. See, we are taught through the religious teachings of virtually every religion I know of, you're taught to fear death. Some religions teach you to look forward to it. I came to the conclusion that looking forward to death is kind of counterproductive. In simplest terms, it's easy to die. It's a real pain in the neck to live sometimes. And apparently there's a staggering number of people having a lot of trouble justifying life with the way today's world is. So we're not talking about death. I mean, I will eventually die. But here's the thing. I did the one thing that an awful pile of people are striving to do. I found a way to essentially immortality. And that was, where is it? That was by writing this and a number of other books. Okay. By writing The Birth of the Wolf Pack, my name is now imprint permanently. Now, considering I've got books, like I personally own books that are coming on 200 years old. Well, a book that's coming on 200 years old. I've got a book that was written, and see up on that top shelf, way up there. Those are all books that are they're at least 70 years old. So, from that standpoint, I've got this book written. They do survive, and I've got them spread out around the world right now. Okay, in a sense, this gains us in a sort of immortality in a way. And of course, the other way that is far more common for people, okay, and depending on who you talk to, a lot more fun, is having kids. Because the reality is, immortality boils down to this. You're immortal as long as someone remembers you. Okay, the people that survived the Titanic, okay, or even the ones that died on the Titanic, they were all still remembered. Now, I have no intention on going through that myself. But when we're talking about life, the trick is enjoy life. Well, I could not write as much as I do if I didn't enjoy writing. It's actually because of the encouragement that I've received from a lot of people to continue doing the videos. That had a lot to do with my getting started with it. The fact of the matter is, now when I don't do a video in the morning, or at some point during the day, I feel like there's a part of me that got missed, part of the day that got missed. So, with that in mind, okay, yes, I've got this massive project. Let people know that working together, we can make this a better world. Okay, but it's going to take everybody's effort, and that starts by working at your own place. Work here first. Take a look in the mirror and ask yourself one thing. Am I content with the way my life is? Okay. Now, there are parts of your life that you may be happy with the path you're on and not entirely happy with the progress. So, the one I'm working on right now, that I'm content with the path, but I'm not content with progress. Well, I'm actually not upset by the progress as long as it continues, and that boils down to my making certain of one thing. First of all, the thing I'm content with the path on, okay, is my health, or more specifically, my weight. Now, there's a lot of you out there suffering from excess weight. Some of you have convinced yourself that you're happy, and yes, I will put it that way. Because the problem with being overweight is more often than not, it boils down to it's a comfort zone, as in, I'm used to being this way, and therefore, I will tell myself I'm happy with it so I don't add depression to the path. Problem with that, more often than not, people that are overweight because they're fighting some form of depression, they're fighting some form of protective issue. Many people that have been assaulted develop an eating habit an overeating issue because of the trauma. They're trying to hide from that trauma. Okay. Now, you may think you're happy, and maybe you are. I'm not the one to determine it. I know when I hit that weight, I was not happy. I got to 246, and I swore I would never hit 250 again. Okay. I'm pretty certain, and I can only surmise, that once I finally break the 200 mark on the downhill slide, that I will hit the same kind of an idea. I broke 200. There is no way I'm going above it again if I can avoid it. Now, I know this is likely because when I hit 210 a few months back, I hit 210 and I'm not going above it. Well, that didn't work entirely well. I went back up to 217, I think. But I'm on the downhill slide again. So you pick the goals. Now, like I said, pick 12 goals to run into 12 goals to. Okay, we'll try that again. Pick 12 goals to finish by the end of the year. Now, I've only got 7 in place yet. I'm still working on the others, but what I'm aiming for is to pick goals that really matter from my standpoint. I hope this doesn't go sour. I'll be right back. Well, hopefully I did that right. Sorry about that. Like I said, this is a live recording, meaning that I go back, I will double check the date to make sure that I got the date right and I post it as is. In this case, I'm going to also go back and double check the 10-minute, 11-minute mark and make sure that the pause I just did not go sour. And right now it looks like it's recording, so I've moved the mouse off the spot. But you pick 12 goals that you desire to get completed by the end of this year. Okay, but break each one of those goals down into smaller packages, into 15-minute to half-hour jobs where possible. Now, I will tell you, if one of the goals that you've got is to renovate your house or a certain part of your house, don't worry about the 15-minute to half-hour mark. At that point, just put the big project together and go, okay, I've got to redo the wall in this room. Make that the goal. Absolutely work at it. I am no carpenter myself. If I can drive a straight nail, it's quite by accident. But you pick the 12 goals because that gives you a direct line to get to. Now, for me, it's a real simple issue. If I can find it, there it is. I have on my list of goals 5 books to get into print. Now, after I put that list together, the first of the 5 books has already gone to the printer. Okay, I'll be sending out the second one either today or tomorrow to go to the printer. So I am making headway with this. Bear in mind, this is one of the second goals. Well, this is part of the second goal. The end of an epoch. Okay, it came out right after the new year, right before the new year. But the goal with this is to get it into Author House and thereby get it onto Amazon. So, for me, I'm already peeling off these 12 goals. Now, I got a whole bunch of little ones, and the office is one of the big goals. But as you can see, I guess you can't see much. Because all these papers up here, all those files that are sitting up there, a lot of those are actually notes on some of the books I'm working on. So I will have to go up into those and go through them and get to work on them. But you get the energy in your own home straightened out first. Get the energy here straightened out. You look in the mirror and you go, what is it? Am I content with my life? Now, like I was saying before I got interrupted there, my weight, I'm happy with the fact it's on the downhill slide. Okay, because I'm not losing weight. I'm dropping it. The fundamental difference there is if you're striving to lose weight, people seem to have an innate tendency to go looking for something they lost. Lord knows it happens all the time when I lose my coffee cup. But people seem to have an innate habit of going to look for something you've lost. Okay, the problem with weight is once you lose weight, you go looking for it, and usually weight seems to come back with company. So get your heads wrapped around the idea that you're not losing weight, you're dropping it or you're discarding it. Okay, leave it behind for somebody else to find. By the way, if you find loose weight looking around, leave it there. You don't really require it. The thing with feeling comfortable when you're overweight is twofold. One, it's something you're used to. I was comfortable with it, and of course I didn't put two and two together until I really started dropping the weight. Right when I took off that 30 pounds, which is what I'm sitting at right now, I think, down under 215 to 246. 30 pounds. When I dropped that, the weight on my leg, which my leg is still a bad leg, it's bad in as much as it doesn't work as well as I'd like it. Okay, but when I took that weight off, the weight made the weight drop made it easier to walk. You'll find the same thing. You'll also find you've got more energy as the weight comes off because your heart won't have to work as hard. Now, there's a lot of new medical research coming up. They call it research. But the stupidest thing I hear these people saying is the idea that not eating and don't eat as much and exercise won't work to lose weight. Well, I'm telling you, take a look at the math. It's a simple issue. If you're taking in less material, less fuel, less food than what you're burning, you're going to drop weight. But it is imperative you get a balanced meal. Now, I like them when I talk to because because I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes a while back, and frankly got rid of that. Haven't got the doctors to tell me that, but then I refused to go talk to the doctors. But when I was diagnosed with it, I went and talked to the nutritionist, to the diabetic nutritionist, and I like what they said. Okay, and that was in simplest terms, it's a yes, you have to eat wisely. Okay, in simplest terms, their basic idea is you take protein, and I am no nutritionist. So if you're looking for nutritional advice, go talk to somebody that's actually studied it. I haven't. I came up with the idea if it's edible and doesn't kill you, hey, carry on. That habit there ended up developing a problem where I didn't develop taste buds. I certainly didn't develop nutritional insight. The one class I took, I was forced to take a class because when I was in high school, they wouldn't give me a spare. So I took a class in nutrition. Figured, what the heck, if I'm forced, I might as well take something. Well, here's the funny part. I made no bones about it. I didn't want to be there. The day of the first class, we got through roll call, and there was a knock on the door. And the teacher come directly over to me, and she goes, "Look, Keith, I know you don't really want to be here, but," she says, "I'd have to put you into a spare because we can't get you into another class. But I've got a student here that really, really desires to take the nutritionist class. So I thought I'd check and make sure that this was okay." Well, of course, as soon as she said that, I folded my books up and I headed out of the room. I got the spare I desired. The kid got the class he desired. So of course, as I'm going out of the class, he turns around and looks at me and goes, he says, "I gotta thank you for letting me take the class." I looked at him and I says, in all fairness, I should be thanking you. So I did get 1 day of nutrition. That was it. But if you go and talk to the diabetic nutritionists, okay, the ones that work with the diabetes, okay, what they told me was you take the amount of protein you put is in the size of the palm of your hand. The amount of carbohydrates you eat is in the size of your hand that covers your fingers. And your vegetables, your greens, take 2 handfuls, and that's the greens you eat. Now, I am not a nutritionist. Absolutely, go and check your own, your own sources. Okay, and this is why I say, you know, I am a spiritual guide. The tools that I offer are the same ones I deal with, that I use personally. The philosophies of life that I live by are the same ones I personally put to use. If you're going to follow somebody, make certain they're following their own rules. Like, for instance, I watched somebody and I was not happy. They were a driving instructor. I have no idea what their name was and didn't care. Okay. But I watched this driving instructor driving on their own without a student, and their driving was absolutely appalling. Well, I went in and complained to the school. And like I told them, I understand student drivers have complications. They do not do well and they make mistakes. But I say if your driving instructors are doing that, number one, I would never refer a student to your school ever, because of the fact that you're not following your own rules. You're not following any tools that you're telling people work. Okay, it's very much along the same lines as many of the other things I've talked about. If you're following somebody, that says, this is, peace is the way, and these people are, and they will shoot people that come on their property without talking to them, this is not the type of person that is going to lead you down the road to peace. There are many people that claim to have returned from a prior time. I'm here to lead you to peace. Come out to my walled-in compound, to my fenced-in compound. We have lots of guns here to protect you. If you're walking into a compound where there's lots of guns to protect you, this is not a compound of peace. Now, do not get me wrong. I am a firm believer and a very staunch supporter of the people that join the military or join the police force to protect their families, to protect their country. Okay, I've got a lot of respect for them. Being as I was diagnosed epileptic at 2 years old, they wouldn't let me into the military. Something to do with automatic weapons and machine guns. But this does not stop me from acknowledging and from supporting the people that have gone there and the people that are currently there. Okay, but it does make me question a lot of the guidelines that their superiors are using. But to be clear, military is the way, from my recollection, military, or your reserves, started way back when people that were capable of fighting stepped up for their own community to protect the community from wild animals, and a little later from people that were trying to get in and trying to cause problems. Okay, but the people that had combat fighting capability or were strong enough to do it would step in and protect the people that weren't. Now, this is the mentality that we have got to take this world back to. Instead of the one that's here that is saying, everything out there I desire to have, I absolutely have to have immediate gratification. Weight drop, in my personal opinion, is best handled at a pound to a pound and a half a week. Now, this does mean if you're looking at dropping 30 pounds, unlike modern medicine, like the modern medical people, and I'll use the term medical people a little loosely, but the people that are coming out and saying, here's a pill, here's a concoction that will drop 30 pounds in a month. This is a dangerous path, if you ask me. A pound to a pound and a half a week means, if you think about it, to drop 30 pounds, you're looking at a 7-month haul. Okay. Now, myself, I'm only 15 pounds above what my primary target is. Okay, or at least a week ago I was 15 pounds above it. Well, we're talking 15 weeks. We're talking a 3-month drop, a 3-month pass to get to that goal. Okay, now I've already got my office set up whereby, yeah, it gets a little cluttered on occasion, but at least it's running properly. Okay, so of course, once I get this video posted, then I will take care and get finances, double check them. I've got a few things I gotta do. I just want to stay on top of that, or more to the point, I just desire to stay on top of that. With that little hiccup, there is a subset of videos I did a while ago titled Language. Take a look at them. All of them aren't done yet, but there are, I think, 4 or 5 that are already done that identify a specific word that in any language is self-debilitating. A couple that I absolutely like, I know I've done the word can't and the word want. And I'm pretty certain I did the word try, but there's 4 or 5 of them that are there. Look them up. They will explain to you, these videos are designed to explain why these words are self-deprivating, why they cause problems for people. Okay, and I keep meaning to do that. I should make a point of that. The sign I used to have over here that says, I am worth it. Okay, really, I've got to get around. As a matter of fact, that's not a bad place if I've got room. No, don't. I was going to say if I've got room, it would be an idea to put it up on that shelf. But it might fit, it might stand on top of these files up in here they were in metal file sleeves. Okay. And with that said, I might be able to put that sign up there and just set it there without it interfering with anything. So I do think that's where I'm going to put it. Because that way, when I'm doing a video, it's a constant reminder. 4 words that are extremely beneficial in any language. I am worth it. Okay, so I'm going to check that right away. Hopefully it works. If it does, that's where it'll be sitting. Otherwise, I got to find a different place for it. But with that in mind, I keep these to a half hour, and that's where we are right now. Tomorrow we will get back, and I will get back to that carrot and the other figure. See, here's another one I've been working on. Now, this is just an odd little character. But I got like 400 of these things. But that's just that's a minor hobby of mine at this point. Now, this said, I'm going to let you go. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of it, please. I am absolutely asking you to join me on this journey to turn the tide of the energy and make this a better world for virtually everybody. I will be back again tomorrow, but until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.